Well, as people are filing in here, let's talk a little bit real quick. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about Stranger Things 3. And you say, this is the Horrible Movie Podcast. Why are you talking about a television show that's on Netflix? Well, number one, it's a pretty freaking good show. Would you say, Phil?
Yeah, I would say.
I would say that it's pretty darn good. And so, therefore, I think it's worthy of us talking about it. The other thing is that it features many movies that are phenomenal inside the movie that are very much worth us talking about. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Inside the television show, there are many great movies to talk about.
Yeah. Are we getting ready to start the Actor Spotlight episode?
We are going to. Here's what we're going to do. We will go with normal segment. We're going to treat this as close to a regular episode of HMP as possible. We're going to do a special segment today, Phil. A very special segment. As you know, in the studio with us today is the one and only Miller Ultramat. Okay? Well, here's what we're going to get. A very special segment called Miller's Retro Game Corner.
That's I like it.
Retro Video Game Corner. Now, here's what this entails. Here's why we're talking about this right now. Are you already recording on everything?
No.
Okay. So what we'll do, instead of an Actor Spotlight, the extra special treat this week, instead of an Actor Spotlight, is going to be Miller's Retro Video Game Corner. And you're going to join in on this conversation too.
Okay, so we're not doing an Actor Spotlight.
Oh, this is the Actor. The Miller's the Actor Spotlight.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, not yet. Hold on there. Hold on. So, we're just going to talk about that briefly, and it's going to be phenomenal. Are you ready? Who's ready for fun?
Me.
Okay. All right, Miller, we're going to switch seats. Okay? We're going to switch seats. Is that mic on there right there on?
It can be.
Can I unmute it right here?
Yeah, I need to light it up on
we'll switch
Logic,
spots.
though.
Okay, I'm going to unmute it right here, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And so that's what we'll do for our very special treat. I'll be off camera. That's fine, though. Who needs to see me? But you... Okay. I'll give you an introduction, son.
Hello, my name is...
Folks, welcome to what is normally our Actor Spotlight, but today, because we are featuring this week Stranger Things 3 on our show, I wanted to do something very retro on our show. On Stranger Things 2, the entire season started out with the guys at the arcade. You remember this?
Yeah.
And they're playing Joust, and they're playing Galaga, and they're playing Dig Dug. They're playing retro games, which I love retro games. Phil, do you love retro games?
Yeah, the first game I think the very first game that they show is them playing Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair, which is such a cool retro game.
Yeah.
Because it's weird animated video game.
You know how they did that? It was on like a optical disc. There was like a spinning disc. I don't think it. I think it was
basically laser disc. Probably.
Yeah, it was probably. I think it was like maybe like an HD DVD or something like that. But like basically every time you hit the controller or the button at just the right time, it would go to like the next chapter in the DVD. Otherwise, it would go straight to the fail screen. So
weird.
That's how they did. That's why it looks so good. But I love that scene so much in Stranger Things 3 that it inspired me to go back and watch complete playthroughs of both Dragon's Lair and Dragon's Lair 2 or whatever they call it. Yeah. They're all, okay, so you can if it's a no fail playthrough and you literally never die, you can get through the whole game in about 12 minutes.
That's cool, but in an arcade that's hard to do.
Yeah.
All right, so without further ado, It's a very special, maybe one time only special segment on the show. We would like to call Miller's Retro Video Game Corner. Ladies and gentlemen, Miller.
Yay!
Sit down.
Okay.
Okay, just don't touch anything.
Hello, my
No,
name is
here we go.
Miller, and I am gonna do this thing called Miller's Retro Game Corner.
Well, Miller, let's do this first. We talked about this, and you love video games. Is that right?
I love them like so much.
What's a current game that you like to play?
I like to play like Roblox.
Okay, Fortnite. You like to play Fortnite,
I
right?
love
But
to
we
play
haven't got to
Fortnite.
play for a while. I've kind of cut that out a little bit.
Yeah,
Minecraft. You have a Minecraft shirt on. Show everybody home.
literally.
All right, and then, but ultimately today, on this very special segment, we would like to call Miller's Retro Video Game Corner. Miller, what's a retro video game you would like to talk about?
My favorite video game that's retro is probably gonna be what was it? Street Fighter.
Very cool. Which who is your favorite character on Street Fighter?
My favorite character is Zangief. Zangief.
What is it?
Zangief.
Zangief.
Zangief. I cannot.
He's the
pronounce-
Russian fighter on there. He appears. He makes a cameo in another movie. What's another movie he makes a cameo in?
He makes a cameo.
Actually, 2 movies.
He makes a cameo in Ralph Breaks the Internet 1 and 2.
Wreck-It Ralph
Oh.
Breaks the Internet 1 and 2.
Okay.
But what's the other movie that's been on this podcast before that he actually makes a brief appearance in?
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter, the game, the movie Street Fighter.
Yeah.
That Ross Osment came on the show and talked about. It's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's like
a long time
episode
ago.
4. It's 171 episodes ago. Yikes. We've been at this for a long time. Miller, what do you like about Street Fighter? You've played it now. Where have you played Street Fighter?
At Walmart. They have like this arcade there.
You have on the like one of those 1-up arcade things, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Have you ever played one of those?
No, but I know what they are. They're like 3/4 the size, right?
They are. But the buttons feel like an arcade game, that sort of thing. What's one retro game, Phil, that you enjoy playing? Older game.
Stand-up arcade.
It can be a stand-up arcade, maybe old console stuff, or maybe old Atari, or who knows what.
This is kind of a deep cut, but I really like the original like Super Star Wars
Cool.
games on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
We played the crap out of those when we were little kids.
Dude, there are some awesome Star Wars games on there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty typical. I'm gonna say like a lot of Mario stuff, Duck Hunt. We had that pad, like that racing pad that you put it down on the floor and just like stomp your feet.
Oh, yeah,
or,
yeah.
Or if you wanted to cheat it, you could just use your hands. But yeah, I did a lot of gaming with my brother. So
Cool.
as far as arcade games, like it didn't get any better than X-Men, which we've talked about.
Oh
on the
my
show.
gosh, the X-Men video game, Miller. Have you ever played that together, son?
Never.
Never.
I've
The
never.
Turtles game, we talked about that too. They're very similar.
I haven't played a Turtles or X-Men arcade game.
Okay.
The only Turtles game I played is like the recent one at like a regular arcade
Oh,
place
yeah.
now.
Okay. Well, one more retro game and then old. Think of an old one. Maybe your friend Beckett has one of those consoles too.
Oh, Galaga.
Galaga. He has
Yeah.
Galaga
Okay.
on there.
It's
And
really
is
cool.
it pretty awesome?
It is one of my Galaga is one of my favorite retro games, but that's super cool that he has one.
And then one last thing before we go. What are 2 stand-up arcade games that you play every time you see, like, you go in an arcade? We've been to a couple different Dave and Buster's just because these games are there. What are they called?
Marvel Capcom and
Marvel versus Capcom, but what is it? Tournament of Champions or whatever it's called?
it's called not Marvel versus Capcom. That's the Xbox game.
Okay.
Contest of Champions.
Contest of Champions. And then what was the other one?
The other one is Injustice.
Yeah, but that one doesn't have as much gore as the
Well,
like the Xbox game. But what's the cool thing about both those games after you play it?
You literally get cards.
Like you get like trading cards.
You can get like trading cards, and on the back of them, they have like their powers.
Pretty cool, huh? We got one that everywhere I look, it's worth like $8.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
$8 worth
It's
ultra rare?
It's an Elseworlds Flash.
Dude, I've had it 2 times.
Dude.
I've had it 2 times.
Sell
but
them.
I know. Well, we lost the other one.
Okay.
I lost the other one because like I wasn't playing that at the time.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was playing the Wii.
anyway. So
That
very
was
cool.
a very, very long
Well,
time.
everybody, that's the Miller Retro Video Game Corner, sponsored by Noah's Arcade. That's right.
No.
The sponsor of Wayne's World. Wayne's World. Wayne's World.
Sponsors Body Armor.
Body Armor drinks. Is that right?
Yeah, Body Armor.
Anything you want to say hi to anybody back home?
If Beckett is hearing this right now, I want to say hi and I want to be famous one day as a Twitch streamer.
Okay, there you go. Twitch streaming, folks. Who would have thought it? All right, Miller, thanks so much. All right, very good.
Woo! Light up in this house.
Oh, and that's what that last part was. Oh, there it is. All right, folks. Very good. Well, Phil, there we go. So, okay, all right. Gotta shut him down. Gotta shut him down on that. Okay.
Mute.
Here we go with that. Here you go. All right. So, folks, thanks for that. Excellent work. We had a winner on our June Amazon gift card giveaway, Phil. And that is San Antonio, Texas's own David Walker. Congratulations, David Walker. It's the greatest.
Wow.
So, hey, David,
Congrats.
I emailed you. I need your address. Send me that, and it's going to be phenomenal. Number 1, USA, number 1. Okay, thanks so much. When we come back, we're going to be talking after this week's episode, Stranger Things 3. We're going to talk about the movies that are inside of that great TV show, and we're going to talk about that TV show. And I love how you have come about this TV show in a very short amount of time. You have watched this television show.
Yeah, I have a lot to say.
It's impressive. It's really impressive. You're apparently a vampire. You don't sleep. Okay, we'll be right back, but in real time. We'll see you in a bit. See you when we see you. Peace out. All right. Very good.
So now we're doing a full 50-minute show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We better get cracking. Crack-a-lackin'.
Just give me the cue. I'm ready to rock. Okay, Miller, no verbiage now. Play your game. Okay, hang tight. Okay? Welcome, my ladies and gentlemen, to the Horrible Movie Podcast. That's right, the show of all shows. We are talking this week, actually, not as much about a horrible movie, but about a television show that encapsulates and has several movies inside of it, and actually one horrible movie Easter egged inside of this called The Stuff. That's right, the television show we were going to talk about today is Stranger Things Season 3, and we'll give a little bit of a recap on the rest of the show because we're going to talk about Philzy and how he has watched this show in a very short amount of time. I cannot believe how short of amount of time you've watched this television show. Phil, your thoughts thus far on the things you've seen on Stranger Things?
My first thought on specifically Stranger Things season 3 is that season 3 unequivocally is the best season in my opinion.
Wow.
Yes.
The world building that has went into it up to this point is massive.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah. I if I was going to rate the seasons, I would probably go 3, 1, 2.
Okay.
Because the first season is phenomenal, and I thought going up to the last couple episodes of season 3, I thought it would be closer, but the last couple episodes killed it so big in season 3.
Pretty amazing.
That it took a pretty far lead.
I'm amazed that they could. Shows have a hard time, and people are very critical. We are a podcast, a show that definitely has been critical of things before. Would you say we've been kind of critical at times?
Our podcast.
Our podcast.
I would say every episode is very critical.
Right. So as a critic, quote unquote, I'm saying this. Quote,
A
unquote,
film critic. Yeah.
Film, quote unquote. Let's be honest. Let's just be brutally honest. Quote unquote, as a film critic, we tend to trend toward the negative on things. But in people, it's hard to make a movie nowadays without people just wrecking it. It's hard to make a television show without people wrecking it. Television, I feel, is so much more maligned by the critic because those things will have it'll get 24 episodes or 13 episodes, picked out, and then and set and contracted, and then all of a sudden the ratings come back. Which, by the way, ratings now on network television make me laugh. To think that we are so archaic that we have to go off of the Nielsen rating.
Nielsen, yeah.
That is,
it's like less than 1%, way less than 1%. I think is what actually accounts for all the multiplication. It's really a joke at this point.
It's pretty stupid.
Yeah, I mean, you compare that to actual real live data that the people at Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, they're getting real time data on real views of their shows.
Yes.
And then you compare that to Nielsen, it's we got 0.001% of the population their data, and then we're just going to multiply that out by 10,000.
Yeah, it's not even I'm sure there's obviously some scientific stuff behind that, but it's I feel like the streaming data would be more accurate because there are more people using that now. It's very interesting.
Yeah,
it's really weird. Anyone that listens to the show knows I am a wrestling fan. You are also a wrestling fan by proxy because we have just watched a lot of wrestling together, right?
Yeah.
Wrestling is on cable television, right? Vince McMahon of WWE is very sensitive to that rating still. It's really weird. The rating for wrestling back in the late 90s would do a 5 share. Millions. I mean, what that would be 4 or 5 million people watching wrestling. Well, now it does a 1 point, or it does a 2.0 or a 2.5, maybe a 3, maybe a 1. But it freaks him out. Whereas most people watch it.
But he sees the real time numbers from the WWE
network, and that's
right?
It's weird. It's just really weird.
All that's streaming for the most part.
But he still cares about the shows on those networks because he can sell ad revenue, because ad revenue is based on those things.
It needs to be, we're getting off topic, but wrestling does need to be on cable television in order for it to be relevant and popular.
Right. It's not going to go on network television.
It's a necessary evil, I think, for them. They're getting most of their revenue from the network,
right.
I would say.
So back to Stranger Things, though. It's not on a network, and Stranger Things is one of those shows that has made Netflix a vilified, very important media outlet. Now, I'm not sure what will happen with Netflix when Disney takes off, because Disney, holy crap, content is king, right? If content is king, Disney owns innumerable content, right?
Yeah.
So Netflix is going to have a hard time, but they've created a lot of this content on their own and spent a lot of money and borrowed millions of dollars, literal borrowed money, to where they're in debt and operating in a negative to create this content to stay, I don't want to say stay afloat, but kind of to stay afloat. It's weird. Anyway, other more intelligent, more savvy people could explain it a lot better than I could. Anyway, Stranger Things, Season 3, it is time, Phil. It is time for some deets.
Okay.
We're doing it.
I wasn't sure we were doing deets.
Oh, we're doing it, dude. Stranger Things. There's a on YouTube. There's a video of Stranger Things. If it were done as a situation comedy in the 80s, there's a video with this theme song. Stranger Things. It's really funny. You should check it out, folks.
Yeah, I need to see that.
Stranger Things. That's right. Produced by the Duffer Brothers. The Duffer Brothers, this is their baby. This is their creation. They are, I would say, geniuses, right?
Oh, yeah.
Would you say the editing is top-notch on this show?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm going to list the editors because of that. Dean Zimmerman, Kevin D. Ross, Nat Fuller, and Catherine Naranjo. Not to be confused with Catherine the Banjo, but Catherine Naranjo. And obviously distributed by Netflix. Who knows on the budget? I mean, this thing is astronomical budget. There are 8 episodes for season 1. There are 9 episodes for season 2, and there were 8 episodes for season 3.
You got to assume 70 million, 80 million, maybe north of that.
A lot of money put into this.
Yeah.
And not only that, how about, and we'll talk about these movies right after this, how about the licensing of other things out on the outside, not Stranger Things, but other things on the outside of this world to make this retro enough to make it look authentic. That's the part of this show that's coolest, is because it looks so authentic to that time period.
Yeah, they're drinking Yoo-Hoo. They're going to 7-Eleven.
Oh,
like,
man.
it feels like the 80s.
Hot dog on a stick.
Yeah.
A real restaurant, by the way. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Amazing. Have you ever seen one of those?
Yeah,
Do they have them in California?
We had one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How about that? You know they're still open. I heard there's 80 locations still.
Okay.
What? Hot dog on a stick. Who would have thought? It looks like a made-up place. It's not. Hot dog on a stick.
It's a corn dog, basically.
It is a corn dog. Stranger Things has a great lineup of folks throughout the seasons, starring Winona Ryder, which you and I have talked about Winona Ryder. David Harbour, who goes from being just the small-town sheriff to, like, action superstar by season 3. All the kids that are on this: Finn Wolfhard, Bobby Brown, Gatton Matarazzo, Caleb McLaughlin, Natalia Dyer, Charlie Heaton, and the list goes on. All the great kids. Dacre Montgomery,
who was in Power Rangers.
Yes. Sean Astin, Paul Reiser, 2 very 80s people in there in that listing alone.
Yeah. Also Jake Busey. Like.
Oh yeah, he was Jake Busey.
I did like a triple check.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. Yeah, that was Jake Busey.
Yeah, I did like a triple take on when he first came in, because I was just like, man, he looks familiar. It's like, oh, it's his dad that I remember.
But yeah, Joe Keery, who
he looks just like his dad.
Who Joe Keery is Steve Harrington, by the way. I think Steve Harrington is awesome. Noah Schnapp. Sadie Sink, and I want to get everybody right here.
The main
Kevin
cast,
McLaughlin, like I said, and Gatton, by the way.
The main cast is not a lot of names that you're going to be familiar with unless you watch the first 2 seasons. Winona Ryder being one of the exceptions to that rule, and I think David Harbour's been in some stuff. But every season has some big name actors. Like this one, the biggest one probably being Cary Elwes.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. You got to remember that. Now pronounce it right. You said what?
He pronounces his name Elwes.
Okay, and we have been raised to pronounce it Cary Yules.
Yeah, he probably answers to that.
We went to a Comic-Con, and Cary was there. Remember this? You may not remember this, but he was there, and everyone said Cary Yules, Cary Yules, Cary Yules. Maybe you heard him pronounce it, Cary Elwes. Elwes?
Elwes.
Like John Elwes, but not, John Elway, but not. Anyway, there it is, folks. Gotta love it. Stranger Things. What happens when 4 kids go on an adventure of a lifetime in Hawkins, Indiana? Stranger Things. That's what happens. Original release date July 15th, 2016, and then the 3rd season was July 4th. Very patriotic. Fireworks shooting over the Starcourt Mall. Very patriotic. Or is it, Phil? Or is there a secret behind the Starcourt Mall? Is there something you didn't know? Maybe there's a old military base outside of town that they're going to storm, like the 600,000 people that have talked about storming Area 51.
Yeah,
have you heard about this?
Yes, I love it.
Oh my gosh, we got 15 seconds for radio break, but isn't that amazing? I like that music.
I'm Carrie Elwes.
Oh, one more time.
I'm Carrie Elwes.
Carrie Elwes. All right, we'll be back to hear more about Stranger Things Season 3. Oh yeah.
You thought I was making
I
it
thought
up.
you were playing outro music. I was excited. I was like, this is cool.
I wish that was our outro. How about that? Carrie Elwes.
I'm Carrie Elwes.
I'm Carrie Elwes.
I carry yellow.
All right.
Keep moving.
Yeah, oh yeah, gotta keep moving. Okay, hey. Chill, buddy. Chill. We're still live. We're live, pal. Hey.
Like it or not.
We're still live, pal. Stop. Thank you, too. Okay. Are you ready to rock?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hold on 1 second. Let me slide over here to the. Stranger Things. We need to find that at the end. That's stupid. And play it. Comedy. Yeah, 80s comedy. Yeah. Stranger Things as an 80s sitcom is the song. If you can find it at the very end, we'll play it. Okay.
Elwes.
I'm ready, Carrie Elwes.
I'm Carrie Elwes. I'm Carrie Elwes. I'm Carrie Elwes. I'm Carrie Elwes.
I'm carry Elwes.
All right, here we go. All right. See what you're doing? Stop. All right. Hey, you gotta stop.
Well, you actually did that.
Uncle Phil did it.
Uncle Phil.
All right. Play us in, Phil. And we're back. Welcome back to the Horror Movie Podcast. This week, we are the Awesome TV Podcast because we decided, mainly me, decided we needed to talk about Stranger Things Season 3 and the movies inside, the 80s movies inside of Stranger Things Season 3, while also obviously talking about the show.
This very special episode of the Horrible Movie Podcast is neither about a movie or is horrible.
It is totally about movies and a horrible movie because inside, let me go down this list here. Well, let's talk about this. Inside Stranger Things Season 3, you have even more, this is the most outside media type things that they've included in a season. In the movie alone, we are bombarded by so many restaurants and stores in the mall. First, at the Starcourt Mall that possibly could be created by the Russian government. Maybe. Do you think? I think so.
I guess we've already told people that we're spoiling the entire season.
We will. So if you have, if you've gotten 15 minutes into the show and you're listening on your radio, you might want to just hit pause. I'm not sure to do that, or cover your ears. Use one hand and cover the other one with your elbow because you still got to steer the car. But otherwise, we are going to spoil Stranger Things Season 3. But if you haven't seen it by now, I mean, what are you doing? Working? I mean, come on. That's a joke. All right, so Starcourt Mall, in it, what are some of the popular places, Phil, in the television show?
Scoops Ahoy.
Mm-hmm. Now, that is fictitious.
It's an ice cream place.
But it is fictitious.
Yeah, that looks good.
Now, what was really cool about the cross-branding of Scoops Ahoy, Baskin Robbins hopped on that and basically said did a Scoops Ahoy commercial, like with Baskin Robbins. It's like,
really?
It is interesting. It was smart. It had Stranger Things on it. It had Steve on it. Had the girl on there. She did a really good job acting, by the way, too.
So if you go to Burger King right now as we record this episode,
Maya
actually,
Hawke, by the way, who is the daughter. That girl is the daughter of Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke.
Oh, how about that?
Unbelievable.
Huh. If you go to Burger King, like in real life right now, they
IRL.
Yeah, they're running ads for Stranger Things 3, and I'm sure there's some kind of trade-off because Burger King's also in the
Big time.
in the show.
Orange Julius is in there, and they're
Yep.
still around. Orange Julius was bought by Dairy Queen a few years ago.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it's still around, but things that weren't around anymore. There's a Sam Goody in there. There's a Walden Books in
Yeah.
there.
I miss Walden.
Yeah, and there was we already talked about this hot dog on a stick, which is a real thing and it's still around, but you don't see much of it.
They don't show any of the department stores, like the clothing
So
stores.
J.C. Penney's,
Okay.
which is still
Oh,
around.
that's right. Well, that's where he gets his date shirt.
Gosh, was it a Van Heusen?
I don't know. He just says, "I got this from Penny's." His secretary. Or
By the
whatever.
way, you know what state J.C. Penney's from? Missouri.
Oh.
I would say he's one of the top 5 most famous Missourians. No, in 20 years he won't be.
JC.
because JC, it's like, I'm not sure what it stands for. Jack Clements Penny. All right. So, all right. By the way, if you didn't hear go back and listen to this week's Actor Spotlight. There's not an Actor Spotlight. It's a new segment called Miller's Retro Retro Video Game
Breaking
Corner.
every rule of the show. Right
We
now.
are. We really are. And anyway, my son is definitely in studio with us today. So that's okay, though. It's all right.
We're gonna have fun on this 175th episode.
175th episode. Unbelievable. I cannot believe it. So the movies inside of this, one of the movies that is it's hugely shown in this is Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
Huge tie-ins to Back to the Future. There's actually some foreshadowing. There's a car that goes across the parking lot toward the mall at a high rate of speed that has, what's the bad guy's name? Billy? Billy's driving the car.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of parallels because that actually happens in the show too.
Yeah, yeah. And then you also get the marquee out front has several movies on it as well. One of them is a movie called The Stuff. Have you ever seen The Stuff?
No.
The Stuff is, wow, it is a horrible movie. It deserves to be on our podcast.
Maybe we should have done that.
Well, no, we're doing this. And we'll do that another time.
Okay. I would like to watch the stuff.
It's unbelievable. It's a lot like how Soylent Green is, right?
Okay.
So, anyway, pretty cool. Pretty darn cool.
What are some of the other movies on the marquee? I remember recognizing several of the titles.
Okay, I'm pulling it up here. There's a big Red Dawn conversation as well.
Fast Times isn't on the marquee. They mentioned it in the movies, the video store. At the
Right.
end.
Ghostbusters is presented big time in this as well. I'm working through this
Season 2. In season 2, they dress up as the Ghostbusters.
here. What else? Working there.
Dude, you're right about licensing. Like they pull no punches when they
went all in.
Yeah, I mean, Coca-Cola. Like there's all kinds of brands, and for any other movie like Power Rangers, where it's like basically one big Krispy Kreme commercial, we would totally give them all kinds of crap for it. But with this show, like it's somehow you just forgive it all. It's like I don't care if there's product placement. This is awesome.
There's a big
Well, and they're talking about New Coke too. So
and there's a big Terminator tie-in with the big gigantic Russian guy that's there too.
There's a lot of 80s tropes in this.
The Stuff is on there. Raiders of the Lost Ark is on there.
Okay.
What else? Cocoon, Fletch, Daryl, Dariyle.
Yeah, I remember Daryl.
Oh, this is a big one. Return to Oz,
Okay.
which is really scary. Have you ever seen Return to Oz?
No,
Oh my gosh, like it is super scary.
I forgot Daryl was.
And
there.
there's also a poster of Pee-wee's Big Adventure,
Okay.
which is pretty darn cool. And again, Back to the Future, they hide out. They hide out in a screening of Back to the Future, which,
Yeah.
by the way, is such a great movie.
And it's a great scene in that movie too. It's like the very first time that they jump back in time.
Back
in time.
Back in time. It's, Huey Lewis in the news, folks, on Hot Mix 101.5.
88 miles per hour.
Look fly. All right, so let's talk Stranger Things. I know everyone's had, if you're still with us, bated breath to hear us talk. And we're going to spoil this, but we're also just going to talk in length about this. Let's go back first to Phil. 2 weeks ago, had you seen Stranger Things ever?
No.
Okay.
0 episodes.
What prompted you to watch every episode, folks? Season 1, 2, and 3 in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
What prompted you, Phil, to not sleep? Because I know you've been working a job, man. I know you've been working.
I was watching 2 or 3 episodes a night for 2 weeks. I took even a couple nights off, actually. But I knew that season 3 was coming out, and I knew it was an episode that literally 108 people had told me that I need to watch it.
Everybody.
And so, yeah,
Yes,
every single
everybody.
person I know. And so with season 3 coming out, I was like, you know what? I need to catch up and then just go straight into season 3 when it comes out. So,
Okay.
what a ride, man.
What
all
a
3
ride.
seasons back to
Okay,
back.
so how did the show change? In that amount, and now remember this is a very quick amount of time, so you have a great thought process, good recall memory. Go. How did it change?
The first season is very simple, and I think it needed to be. Like the plot of that season was very focused. It's the Demogorgon. We have to find a way to stop it, to kill it, and that's kind of it. There's all these other little side plots going on, but they aren't like what I would call like main side plots. There's the kids going after the beast, the whatever they think it is, and then the adults kind of jump in about halfway through, and then there's some like love story, like love triangle kind of stuff going on, and that's kind of the whole thing.
Yeah.
In season 2, they expand it, but I thought a little bit too much. So do you remember from season 2 they end up going to like that big city, Chicago or whatever it is? And the Duffer Brothers have come out and said that they regret doing that. By the way.
Well, and they made a conscious effort to try to mature. I'm going to say this. I'm not trying to be weird when I say this. To mature 11 a little bit from this naive character.
I think they needed to do that.
And then they fast forward it really quickly, where she's dressed like, I don't know, like an 80s, like a keyboardist in an 80s progressive rock band by the end of the...
she's goth punk.
Yeah, or whatever it is. Yeah, she joined The Cure during that episode. And she then comes back and uses her power and that sort of thing. And then in season 3, am I wrong to think, then they took her... They went time traveled her back.
Yeah.
Like
she's very feminine.
Very, very back to a kid, like naive, but like almost like, well, what is love? I do not understand. It's like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And then she and Mike or whatever, which then Mike is another character, but by the way, like, he went from being...
He is everyone's favorite character from the first season. I mean, either him or, a couple of the
Dustin
older... Dustin is probably everyone's favorite.
Yes.
But, like, Mike is such a great character from season 1, and then he gets progressively, like, more annoying as the series
and he
goes
gets,
on.
like... And I understand, like, teenagers. I've been around teenagers a long time. Like, but he is, like, on the point of being a jerk. And he's a jerk to the wrong person in season 3, because very early on... We know that Mike and 11 have started this relationship, and they're doing this gross they're smooching, and it's so gross. And Hopper, who is played by David Harbour, again, he's ended up being the action hero in the first 2, and by the end of this one, it's just like he is diehard.
He was my favorite character in the middle of season 2, and then he like stayed my favorite character all the way through season 3.
Yes.
He's so great. I love everything that he stands for. Like, he is, I don't know, I guess if you want to go 80s trope, he's kind of like that bad cop, I have a gun and badge and stuff like that, but I also break the rules, and like he tortures people and stuff like that. But I also love how human he is. Like, he is very relatable and very vulnerable, I think, in season 3.
Right.
And you can relate to him, especially if you're a parent, about this kind of surrogate relationship he's had, his adoptive relationship he's had with 11 over the past year. Is he's become her father, and so like he's very protective over her, very emotional about her, and then also like dealing with his own feelings for Joyce, and like how a teenage love drama they are throughout the whole season. I love every single second that he's on screen. He's great.
Yeah, and I think he as a character is a linchpin type character. They did a good job of making of creating bad guys for this season as well.
Yeah.
You have the kids that are kind of like the Goonies, the Goonies kids. You're going to cheer for them. They've got they check off all the boxes, and they've added several other characters over the course of the last seasons. Sadie, Max, the Max character, they added her. I initially, when they added her last season, I was a little worried that this is going to get like diluted and not good. She fits in. And the tie-in with her brother Billy makes that work.
Yeah, so good.
And really is huge. That's good writing.
And she's a good actress. Like I really enjoy
Really
watching
solid.
her.
Yeah, really solid.
It's so funny that we're talking about that. Jessica I was telling her about the season, about its strengths and everything, and hardly any weaknesses. And she was like, "Is this a show that Jack really likes?" I was, "Oh, of course, he loves it." And she's like, "But he hates child actors."
Yeah, well, I don't hate children. Like let's not go there.
You don't hate children.
I struggle. Here's what I struggle with. I struggle with. Hear me out, folks. Listen up. Here's why. Here's the real reason. So many child actors have been put through this weird, horrible experience, and a lot of times it's by their parents, and their parents force them into this, like show parents or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they end up they come out of that kind of, I don't want to say messed up, but maybe messed up a little bit.
Yeah.
That is frustrating to me. Like, there are many cases of those kids being taken advantage of, right? So then when I watch them act, it's just like, it's just tough to watch. Like, it's just tough to watch anyway, because a lot of them aren't good actors. But in this show, is there one that sticks out that's bad? That you're like, this is horrible.
I wouldn't say any of them are horrible. I don't think that Will always has the strongest acting moments.
But let's talk about Will, because Will, in season 1, you just feel so bad for him.
Yeah, and he's not.
And then in season 2, you feel worse for him.
He's not doing a lot of acting in the first 2 seasons.
Yes, and in this season, it's like he is the odd man out of the friendship. If you don't know and you're just hanging in, listening to this, and you don't really know anything about Stranger Things, Will ends up. How does he first get the connection with the Upside Down? How does that even happen?
I mean,
the Upside Down, by the way, folks, is a parallel universe basically to our own, but it's really messed up, and it's basically these monsters that run it, basically.
Yeah, you mean like inhabited or like controlled?
Yeah, is that what happened?
Yeah, it happens at the end of season 1. So like in season 1, he's, for those who I guess who haven't seen the series and don't mind being spoiled, season 1 he's basically abducted and is in this alternate dimension called the Upside Down. It's basically like a mirror of our universe, but really messed up. And he, at the end of that season, they free him and they pull him out, but then he like coughs up this
like
nasty thing.
Yes, yeah.
And so
then
you
realize
the end of season 1, you're like, okay, he's not right. Like even though they got him back, he's not 100%.
Yeah, and so then he turns into not as much the big bad for season 2, but they've got to save him again. And so he's just it's a sad character, right? Well, throughout all this, all these other people have been able to go on these missions and have, you have Dustin with all of his fun things he says and his little teeth that aren't there. And you said that's a real, that's a real diagnosed medical condition.
Yeah, the actor actually has that.
Yeah,
that
it's
condition.
amazing. Like, it's just I'd never heard of that. So you have Dustin, you have Lucas, you have I'm leaving Mike out, Mike, and then you added 11 into that mix. And you have this it's almost like Goonies. It really is a lot like the Goonies.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
which
very
is
similar.
really cool. And so you add them in there, and it's this fun group of things. Well, what Will is the odd man out in the 3rd season because he's back from this, but he wants to do the normal things they've done. They're all kind of Dungeons and Dragons, like role play game type thing. They play, board game they play.
I love the D&D theme throughout all 3 seasons.
Well, and then those kids are starting to mature and want to do other older teenage things.
Yeah.
And so he feels left out.
Because he wants to hang on to that youth.
He missed out on a couple years worth of it.
Yeah. But yeah, he like for him that is the social connection. Like I don't feel like he's very social, and his brother Jonathan certainly isn't. Like both of them struggle, I think, in social atmospheres. And so I think for him, it is the connection to his friendship. And so putting away D&D means putting away his connection to his friends.
Yeah.
So
Well, and so that bums him out, and that isolates him, and puts him a little bit on an island too. And so then the guys, they end up finding this transmission because Dustin gets back from Camp Nowhere, which is hilarious.
yeah,
And he gets back from camp, and he has this ham radio, essentially, basically this big, it's this big circuit radio thing. He claims he has a girlfriend. Okay, Susie. They don't believe him. He says they're going to connect via the radio.
Did you believe him?
No, they go to the top. No, I didn't. They go to
I
the
didn't
top.
either.
They go to the top of the biggest hill in Hawkins, Indiana, and he can't connect with anybody, but he does pick up this weird Russian code, and then that becomes the theme of Steve Traeger. Steve Harrington goes to his work at Scoops Ahoy,
which is the greatest
Oh, it's great.
place of work ever. Like,
Yes.
I so want to go to one of those now.
He has his little sailor outfit on, and the girl there, Maya Hawke, played by who plays Robin Buckley. She just turns out she's good with languages. She knows she can speak 2 other languages. Surely she can figure out Russian. They'd help us.
That's one of the only things that's a little hard to believe in this
It's
season.
just the movie for movie. But
she picks up Russian in about 10 minutes.
She's very fluent. And so they end up deciphering the code, and it's Russian. And she somehow figures out in seconds, by the way, that the Starcourt Mall is actually the site of some crazy military thing by the Russians. So anyway, when we come back, we're going to talk more about Stranger Things Season 3. It's greatness. We'll see you soon. I'll be right back.
Dad. Didn't Dustin sing that song?
We haven't got to that point yet. Spoiler alert. Okay, we're ready whenever you are.
Accident. He didn't sing a song.
Yep.
And we're back. Welcome back to the Horror Movie Podcast. My name is Jack, and thanks for tuning in, downloading. This week, we are talking about not a horror movie. We've talked about some movies already. We talked about Back to the Future that's inside of this television show we're talking about. We've talked about The Stuff briefly, which you've got to see this. It's unbelievable, The Stuff. It's so crazy. MST3K has done it before, too, so that's good. Anyway, we're talking about Stranger Things Season 3. You know why? It's happy 175th episode day. That's why. And doth I say it, we're going to do it anyway. That's why we're doing it. And it's great because it's a great show.
It's the semi-sesquicentennial.
And we're excited about Stranger Things Season 3. And we were talking before the break. We're talking with producer Phil here. And we are talking about this great thing. They have deciphered the Russian code. They find out it's got to be here in the mall. They then go on a rooftop behind the two of the names that were deciphered in the code. The two of the establishments in the show, and they find these people, these armed guards, standing guard. They end up going through the door. They go into this elevator thing, hit a bunch of buttons, which is really funny. They just randomly hit a bunch of buttons, and they go into this elevator down forever. It feels like forever they go down. And then they walk the entire length of this huge corridor, miles and miles.
Yeah, that's what Steve says.
Miles.
Yeah.
And then it's like a service elevator for this huge bunker thing, and they come across a bunch of Russians. Steve gets abducted. So does his co-worker, Robin. Mm-hmm. And Dustin and I forgot the girl that's on there too. Erica, played by Priya Ferguson.
So funny, and she is legitimately a child actor. Like she's
young,
very young, and
good.
And I don't know if she was in season 1 or not. She definitely was in season 2, and she was even younger.
Well, she's Lucas's sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's Lucas Sinclair's
sister. This is the
sister.
first time that she's given a prominent role.
And here's another thing that happened in this season. They've expanded the kids to the point where we have 2 groups now on missions.
Yeah, listen, the main cast consists of 15 people.
Yeah.
15 different actors.
Yeah.
Think of another show that has 15 not like side characters, main actors to the story.
Other than The Bachelor and Bachelorette, that's about it. So the basically then they're on this mission. The other group, the other kids, Mike, Dustin, no, Mike, Lucas, Will, Max, and 11. They are all on the mission to scout out Billy Hargrove, who is Max Mayfield's brother, half brother, step brother,
and
adopted brother.
That's right. Yeah, they're not blood related. That lifeguard goes missing. There's some other shenanigans in some houses, like things are broken and smashed and stuff like that. So
Yes.
they're kind of like playing detective and kind of figuring out what's going on.
Yes.
So, by the way, all the different individual stories is very Shakespearean. Like you've got the Jonathan and what's her name? Girlfriend. The two of them are like playing, like they legitimately work for the paper.
I left them off, didn't I?
And then they go off by themselves.
Nancy.
The two of them are investigating like this old woman that is
Who has
lost
become?
it.
She's claiming these rats have eaten all the fertilizer in her basement.
And then she starts
she
eating the
finds it, and then you
fertilizer.
find out she apparently becomes infected by the rat.
So they're investigating that. These other groups of kids are investigating Billy and these abductions and,
Yes.
and kidnappings and stuff like
Yes.
that. Then you've got Steve and his gang that are investigating the Russian stuff, and then you've also got Hopper and Joyce who are looking into some Russian stuff, and they go and find Murray, who's this like crazy, conspiracy theorist guy that lives out in the woods.
Which, by the way, is his name Murray?
Murray,
Wow,
yeah.
interesting. He is a great addition.
Oh,
to this.
I love Murray. He's in the second season, but
Yes.
not as much, and they definitely double down on
Yes,
him.
Murray goes along with Joyce Byers, with like you said, with Winona Ryder and David Harbour's character, Jim Hopper, and we got to add they've got 4 people in their cool adult group, because they've got Alexei,
yeah.
who is a Russian that they kidnap.
Who Hopper calls by a different name. It's like Vladimir or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what he
and
calls
so
him.
they basically kidnap him. He ends up being glad they did and becoming friends with them.
Yeah. Dude, one of the best scenes in the entire show, all 8 episodes, is when Hopper is predicting that he's going to, like, he lets him go. Like, he says, here's the keys to your handcuffs in the car. Just, if you want to go, just go get yourself a slushie or whatever. And so he hops in the convertible and starts to drive off. And Joyce and Murray are like, Hopper, he's leaving.
Yeah, he's the only
like,
person that can help us.
If you let him leave, this whole thing goes south. And he's like, no, he's coming back. Don't worry about it. And that was another moment where I kind of like the Susie thing. Like, I was like, Hopper's wrong. Like, there's no way he's coming back. And he drives all the way to the gate and then goes, oh, man, I can't leave. And so he puts it in reverse, comes back, and Hopper just gives this smug look. I was just, that was such a great scene.
Hopper's the dude, man. Like, he's got it figured out, doesn't he?
But so 4 different plots, and then at the end of the show, all 4 of these come together in a really satisfying way.
Well, I am very, very pleased with the groups all coming together, and then they have to fight off the weirdest, grossest creature I've seen so far, I think.
Yeah.
The creatures on this show, folks, by this point, by season 3, the creatures on this show basically turn this show kind of into a horror TV show.
Yeah.
And a really gory TV show.
This one's the most gory. When I was a kid, my parents would not allow me to watch the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark when their faces melt. Basically,
You can't look into the Ark of the Covenant.
Well,
they have to melt their heads.
Yeah. They would not. They made me fast forward, look away. Like, I could not.
Aww.
I was not allowed to watch that scene. This is so much worse. Like, basically from head to toe, their entire bodies melt into like human red goo on the floor.
It's
and
unbelievably
then
gross.
that goo like walks away.
It's unbelievably gross, actually. It's so gross.
And then all of these like pieces of humans, like the goo of humans, congeal together.
and to form this creature thing.
It's nasty.
It's nasty. So you're basically the Russians in this. Here's what the Russians are after, folks. They've built this. They know that in Hawkins there's this power, this ability to open that portal there, because they've tried to open the portal in Russia, can't do it, can't get it to open.
Yeah.
But in Hawkins, they know they can get the thing to come out, the creature to come out, right?
Well, yeah, the wall is weakest.
Why are they so? Why do they want to do this? Why would anyone want to do this?
It goes back to season 1, man. Like when they first see the Demogorgon, that the very first thing that they guess is it's got to be the Russians, and it's all about like military power. Like they're experimenting on humans. They're doing something so that they can be, they can win the Cold War, basically. So yeah, I don't know.
They were so wrong.
It's not that dissimilar to like some of the alternate history Nazi stuff, where like the Nazis were into like supernatural and
metaphysics and things like that. Yeah.
And there's some reason to believe that they actually were doing some of that stuff,
or trying to use the occult
to
get that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So it's similar to that, I think.
Yeah, I understand that, and so it's kind of like, the video game Doom, then. Basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Not like the movie Doom though, that has The Rock, which we did on this show. So
actually, I think it's more like Wolfenstein. Did you mean?
Yes.
Did you mean Wolfenstein? Wolfenstein is the Nazi one, where there's.
It is, isn't it? Wolfenstein is. Yes, it is. But the movie. The movie Doom, they do experiments on this Mars base similar to this. That's where I went in my old noggin here.
Go back and listen to our episode on Doom.
You know it, with The Rock. So they have infiltrated the Russian base. They've got to stop the Russians. What was the green goo that was powering the laser? This laser, folks, shoots into this weakened wall into this dimension to bust a hole into another dimension. And what was the green goo? It's like nuclear fission. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Slimer. It was Slimer from Ghostbusters.
It powers their electric device, basically. There's a lot of electricity flowing around that thing.
I think that it was pure excitement is what it was. Pure excitement to watch this show.
Here's what's great about this show, and possibly most Netflix shows. I've only seen like a couple of the Marvel ones to compare it to, but there is never a dull moment in these seasons. And to be honest, there's something to love in every single episode, and more than one thing in every single episode. That's what you get with 8 episodes as opposed to like 24 episodes. That's what you get with lack of commercials, with runtime,
total concentration.
Well, and the runtime can be like 46 minutes for episode 1, and then 55 minutes for episode 2. It doesn't really matter. They can do whatever runtime they want. They don't have to stick to a set schedule every single week.
Well, and they can get everybody on set and get them all the film in that little cluster of time and get it knocked out. And, very exciting is what it was. Very, very exciting. Very exciting. I'm pretty excited about this show. I love this show. Are you excited about season 4?
Oh yeah. So go back and listen to Sif Pop 200. They had their 200th episode last weekend.
Crazy.
Where they talked about theories. If you listen to the Sif Spoil episode of 200, they talk about in-depth theories. And Aaron thinks time travel for the next season. His big theory, you go back and listen to
it.
His big theory is that Hopper is spoilers for the end of season 3, Hopper is not dead. That he somehow got sucked into
the Upside Down.
Yeah, which you don't see him blow up at the end. So.
Yeah, I think he's still alive because of the post credit. Or the mid credit. They're like, no, not the American.
So there's 2 people that could be. It could be Murray for one.
That's true.
Because at the very end, Murray and Joyce are like, we got to get out of here, and they go running, and then you only see Joyce at the end. So maybe Murray got captured. They don't show what happens. To
they both could be alive though too.
Yeah.
There's a scenario where it's a TV show. So
I think it's reasonable to assume that Hopper maybe got pulled into the Upside Down, and even though they haven't shown anything with time travel yet, there's a lot of references to time travel, not the least of which being Back to the Future in season 3, that it seems to, there's a lot in his notes about like turning back the clock and stuff like that he leaves for 11 posthumously, that it would seem to suggest that he maybe wants to like go back in time and like rewrite history to make things different, turn things around from season 3. If they did that, they could bring back the Demogorgon. They could do anything because time travel kind of unlocks all doors. So yeah, he thinks time travel is a real possibility.
We didn't really finish off what happens. They are able to stop the Russians from opening the gate, which again, I just go back. I cannot believe the Russians are this heck bent on opening that gate. Then,
and so either easily thwarted by like some children.
Yeah.
And
and some civilians. Then the big, I don't know, conglomeration of a human monster thing. They defeat.
The Mind Flayer.
How do they defeat it?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of like explosives. That was so great. I love how they were just throwing all those fireworks at it and stuff like that.
Yes, they got that, and then
it basically falls over once the
gate is shut.
Yeah,
because once it's open, it's tied to the big bad and
I thought that was the only thing in the show in the entire season. Honestly, I can't really nitpick a lot that was not fully explained. Like, I don't think at any point even Dustin was saying like, if we just close the gate, that will kill the Mind Flayer. Like, I think they thought they might have to kill it because I mean, they at the beginning of the season, Will has this line where he says like, it's stuck out here with us, like it didn't go back to the upside down and it's been trapped here. But I don't think I ever made the connection that it was only alive and well because of the opening of the gate, and so then closing the gate would kill it.
The creature that stayed back from the second season, the shadow creature thing.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk about this. It had to control the rats to get it to make a form, to make a physical form to do anything with, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Which actually what was crazy to me, you think it started with rats that it controlled, or did it start with like fleas or bugs, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this weird like what level did it have to start at to manipulate life to get to? It's really weird.
Yeah.
The 30 people died in the town of Hawkins. Did you hear that on the newscast?
No.
Well, death of 30 people, including blah blah blah. And they listed off the people. The mayor got arrested.
Well, just his army alone, the Mind Flayer's army alone. Like there's that one shot where there's like at least a dozen of them. Yeah, all those people died.
You feel bad for those people.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the people in the newspaper that are just like the worst. How does Hawkins have that big of a news staff? They're just hanging around in the newspaper.
Yeah.
It's not a very big town, right? But you know what? You didn't think it was a very big town. But then it pans out, and it's a pretty good-sized town with that mall there.
I mean, it's big enough to have like a huge fair and
a big mall.
They're a county seat, I guess.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. So we left off this too on the movies. The end of the movie, one of the keys to the movie is Dustin is able to contact his girlfriend Susie. Everyone can't believe Susie's real. Susie is mad at him for not contacting her since they left camp.
Yeah, he's been underground for most of the time.
In order for him to make it up to her, she forces him to sing the theme from the Never-Ending Story. Have you ever seen the Never-Ending Story?
I have. It's been a long time.
Long time. Falkor the Luck Dragon is in this. Bastion. Atreyu.
And a horse that dies by quicksand.
Oh my gosh. When I was little, and that horse died in that quicksand bog swamp thing. Are you kidding me? That was tragic. It was tragic. Falkor the Luck Dragon looked pretty fake. That was the sound of his face moving like a puppet.
I did think the payoff was really cool because they connected the very first episode where you're like, Susie's not even real. He's making this whole thing, she's like Phoebe Cates but hotter. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
And then they get to the very last episode, and it's the payoff. So she's not only real, but she knows the number sequence for Planck's constant. Apparently.
Yeah, she's on it. She helps them.
She's a genius.
She helps them unlock the unlockable door in the Russian compound. That lets Hopper and Winona Ryder's character and Murray get into the big place and to shut the laser down that's opening the gateway, and they shut it down. The monster in Hawkins dies, and it's gone, right? I mean, what are you left with for the ending of the show ends with Winona Ryder moving, and then you're left with a mid-credit scene of a Demogorgon attacking somebody.
Yeah, so gross.
Cray.
So what's really strange about that last scene is the Russians have a Demogorgon in Russia.
Yeah.
So I guess they
Very
transported one back.
And we'll get back to that. Radio folks, thanks for tuning in. If you want to hear the rest of this, we're going to talk just real quick, just a little bit more. Check us out, the Horror Movie Podcast. Sign up for our July giveaway. Love you. Our July gift card giveaway. You still have a couple weeks, even at time that this thing airs. You'll still have a couple weeks. Rate and review our show on Apple Podcast. Give us 5 stars, please, and then leave a nice review on there. Also tell a friend, but also take a picture or a screenshot of that review. Email it to jack@thehorriblemoviepodcast.com, and that'll enter you into our drawing for our July gift card. It's great. Giving it away. $50 gift card, Phil, to Amazon. You could buy 10 Beanie Babies. Pretty good Beanie Babies. Maybe even a Princess Diana Beanie Baby. The memorial one. No? Okay, anyway, so
here's
back to Stranger Things.
Here's why I want the
A handful of pop sockets.
Here's why I want the American to be Murray in season 4,
And not Hopper.
Yeah, not Hopper. One is I like the idea of Hopper like surviving in like he's so BA at this point, like to just like to survive, like to live his life inside the Upside Down for who knows how much time there's going to be in between seasons. I think is really cool. Murray in Russian captivity, it sounds hilarious to me because he is the one that's like. The entire season 2 is just like the Russians are after us. They're listening to our every phone call, blah blah blah, and it turns out that he's right. Like he's the only one that's right about all this stuff, and so like him like being like I know this sounds really bad or whatever, but and morbid, but like him being tortured by the Russians and like joking and kind of like how Steve was, Indiana Jones style, spitting in the face of the Nazis type of thing. I could see Murray doing something similar to that.
He will, if he's still alive.
Dude, how great was Steve, like semi-drunk basically? Truth serum.
Because they given him the the drug that makes him tell the truth or whatever.
Watching Steve and Robin, like
so silly,
and it was excellent acting. Like I bought every single second of it on screen. So good.
But yeah. Good stuff. The ending, Winona Ryder's character moves away from Hawkins.
Yeah.
Will's obviously going with. 11 is moving with them as well.
Yeah, because there's no dad now.
Yeah, because Hopper's apparently gone.
Yeah.
So anyway, any final thoughts?
That effectively breaks up all the relationships in the show.
Yes.
Will wasn't attached, but. I guess you still have Lucas and Max, but like some of the major relationships in the show are pretty much all separated now. So it'll be interesting to see how they bring them back together.
Any final thoughts on this thing?
I just love 11. Like I think she's one of the coolest. Not wink wink, not a comic book character, but kind of a comic book character. That I've seen in cinema, TV in a long time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, just great. I can't wait to see. So, again, another major spoiler. She loses her powers at the end of season 3. They have to come back, right? Like she's.
Yeah. We've got to figure out. They'll come back. It's just probably who knows what. Probably come back bigger and better than ever. It's season 4.
This is the only season of the 3 that's not ended very happily. Like both season 1 and season 2 had like really happy.
Yeah, all the loose ends were tied up and we figured it all out.
But this one, like,
and the gang rode off into the sunset.
11 lost her powers. Hopper's presumably dead.
Yes, it's serious. Things are getting serious about
some of the characters have moved out of Hawkins. It's really unnerving, like to feel that ending. So,
well, the Russians will probably be back next season.
Oh, I love it.
trying to open up another gate
Yeah.
into the place that's gonna make them great.
I'd like to see him have more of a role. I know they were central to the plot, but there weren't a lot of scenes with them talking.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
yeah,
They were always in the background of every shot, and
Yeah.
I'd like to see them actually like get to know, other than Alexei, get to know some of the Russians, more.
Cuckoo.
We didn't have time to do that in season 3, and I get it, but I'd like to see them take that turn for 4.
Okay. Well, Phil, thank you so much for humoring me and talking about Stranger Things 3.
Yeah,
We will see y'all soon. Remember, just because it's from Hollywood doesn't mean it's horrible, and just because this movie was not a movie at all, it tricked you. The Upside Down got you. You are in trouble. So we'll see y'all soon. Reach for the stars, follow your dreams, and remember that I already did the ending of this show, and I never know how to close out a show. So
never-ending
story, flying so high with Falcor the Luck Dragon. Hey, I'm Falcor the Luck Dragon. I'm bringing you luck. Huh? You're alive, Falcor. Yes, I am.
I'm alive. That was fun, man.
See you guys. Thank you. Thank you, YouTube friends.
Thank you. If you're checking this out on YouTube, go to thehorriblemoviepodcast.com and
You can listen to this episode.
yeah, and
Go to Apple Podcasts.
we are part of
Subscribe.
a network of podcasts called the Studio DNA Network. Just search Studio DNA in your podcast player of choice.
Oh, yeah.
And find any other great other shows.
Thanks,
besides
guys.
This one.
Wait, music. So
Uh,
no, for the Stranger Things.
you had to pull it up. It's all good.